Hi, my name is Attila. I work in product at PPRO, and I want to talk to you about using local payment methods to optimize your subscription payments. Let's look at some data first. Today, only around 40% of global e-commerce is done using traditional credit and debit cards. That means in turn that more than half of global e-commerce still is done using local payment methods. Just going to call them LPMs for the sake of abbreviation. What are they? Culturally, they have established themselves as we move from brick and mortar into e-commerce, and we can probably group them. First of all, you got your e-wallets. PayPal is a great example. You usually link a credit card or your bank account to them. You can hold funds, you can pay your friends and family, and you can purchase goods and services online. Second of all, you have bank transfers. I'm going to call them account to account. They're really gaining in popularity. Countries like Brazil with Pix, UPI in India, Ideal in the Netherlands has been around for decades. Here, the consumer in real time logs into their bank account and pushes the payment out to the merchant. Highly secure and very cost effective. Third, this one is very popular with the younger generation, so you buy now, pay later, where especially for higher ticket items, you can chunk them and then pay them off in the future. And the fourth one I find exciting are cash-based local payment methods. They're still around because in many cultures, you used to pay your utility bills, printing out a barcode, you go into a local convenience store and you pay them off in cash. And that still exists for e-commerce payments in countries like Japan with Konbini, OxxoPay in Mexico, or Boleto in Brazil, to name a few. What's interesting about them is that they're quite complex. And by complex, I mean that as opposed to credit cards, again, since the 50s and 60s, well established, you have a whole system of issuing banks and acquiring banks. You have the card schemes in the middle that provide the integrity. It's all very clearly defined. With local payment methods, some of them don't have the concept of a refund. Others don't do disputes or chargebacks. Some of them are just one step. So you take the money and transfer it immediately as opposed to an authorization and a capture afterwards. And many of them actually require a business to have a local bank account, which in turn requires to have a local entity. So that makes them quite complex. And actually, if you sum up all of these complexity, that is the reason that we built this local payments platform at PPRO to give our customers simplified access into the world of local payment methods. They're relevant and they're complex. Let's talk a little bit about what that means for payments. So payments, I think my colleague Carol in an earlier video had already established their one-time payments. And then they are recurring. Underneath recurring, we have this really interesting concept of a subscription payment. Subscriptions are what? A customer or a consumer would authorize a business to bill them at regular intervals for ongoing access to services or software. Think about your favorite music streaming or video content. Those last usually until the subscription naturally ends or the consumer wants to cancel. What's interesting is that up until now, most people associate credit cards with subscription payments, despite us knowing that only 40% of global e-commerce runs on these ones. So what's really interesting is that there are two forces coming together at the moment. On the one hand, more of the large subscription businesses acknowledge that to run a successful subscription campaign and to reach all of the customers that want to use your services, you need to supplement traditional credit and debit cards with the relevant local payment methods. And on the other hand, those schemes, think about a UPI or a Pix or a Wero that's coming up in Europe at the moment, are building out these capabilities to no longer simply offer one-time payments, but also support the subscription economy. So we just established a few things. Local payment methods are relevant. They're quite complex. But we also acknowledge that any business that really wants to reach all of their potential customers should supplement credit card payments with the right mix of local payment methods. If you found this interesting, please also have a look at the other videos that we published in our Subscription 101 campaign.